And we're back for another GAC. Today, we're up against the Wicked. This is our second match. We had the unfortunate loss to a game crash last time, so hopefully we can play well and not have game crashes this time so we can get a win against him and kind of get off this losing streak that we're on. So before we do go ahead and check out everything that we've done on offense and defense, we will get to that. Let's go ahead and look at this guy's roster. I'm going to try not to talk about it too much, but the last loss continues to kind of tick me off a little bit because this guy looks even harder than our last opponent, both on paper and in skill level. So overall view of his roster, it's pretty good. I would say it's better than the last one. He's got 6 Galactic Legends, which, you know, everyone does at this point. He has essentially the same 4 Omicrons that our last opponent had with Qui-Gon Jinn, Zam, Starkiller, and Iden, except for he has the right Starkiller Omicron, so that's a huge advantage for him, at least over the last guy. And his mods are not too far off bars. Our last opponent had 100 plus 15s under us. This guy only has 40. He's got a little behind on plus 15s or plus 20s. And again, for whatever reason, we're really winning the plus 25 game. So other than that, that's pretty much what we're working with. I think he has 191 more relic levels than us. So a little bit less than what we've been facing, but still quite a good margin. So that is his roster overall. Now, let's see what he put on defense. And he went heavy defense. So I guess cheesing now is 2 Galactic Legends. So to not cheese, this is kind of what you have to set down. So he put down the entire Galactic Legend wall. And these are like pretty good comps. This comp here is a little weak. And I'm really wondering, and we're going to find out, if Wampa beats this. Because he put down 5 Galactic Legends. I have 3 for offense. So 2 of these have to go down to non-Geo counters. So fairly certain that we're going to have to throw Wampa at this. We could try GG Newt. It's really not the best comp. There's really nothing here that stops either of those two, but I think I want GG Newt elsewhere. So Wampa's going to get to play. In this fight here, probably just going to have to do C armor and not be an idiot this time and just put 2 stacks Beskar onto C. Got the Jedi Revan, Jedi Luke. This one, that's where the other character is going to come from, and then we're just going to have to use our normal SLKR count here because they still have, there's no Vader here, so it's slightly easier, but Thrawn and Maul are still both very problematic. It's a good Lord Vader squad. And then up top he's got JMK, and JMK really throws a wrench in things because for JMK, since we have to use Jedi Revan, Jedi Luke down bottom, we're not able to use them here with this really good Jedi Master Luke comp. So we're going to have to do something really annoying, and we're going to have to use Bounty Hunters to snipe out Cat, and then clean up with the budget JML team. Iden will kill this. Something will kill this. I don't really know what we're supposed to do here. And then Iden, so I really like to use Wampa on Iden. I guess we're going to have to use GG except for drop B1 for like IG-88 or something, or not. Yeah, IG-88, just so they don't get the assist, but I don't know. It's a pretty weak team. Like R3's and gear 12, and she's only gear 11, so I probably don't need to stress about that too much. But our defense, we're going heavier than we used to now that we have Lord Vader. So we still sticking Maul on defense. We got him with the 393 sped Droideka. We have our typical Darth Revan, Gas, Bam, and in the back we've got JMK and Lord Vader. I put them in the back this time because this player seems to judge things a little bit better. Like, I'm fairly certain our last opponent burned his JMK on a really crappy Lord Vader team. I don't think this guy's gonna do it. I think he's smart enough to use Gas. But if I can get him to burn Gas on one of those teams in the front wall, then he might not full clear. He might have to 2-shot or 3-shot something. Everything else is virtually the same that we've done the other weeks. Nothing super special up here. And then ships, we're leaving Executor off. We're leaving Executor off of defense against opponents that always take him on offense. This guy typically takes it on offense. So, as always, let's get to them battles. All right, time to get a Wampa in here. So we're going to take in our Wampa first versus their C. And I was pretty confident with this. I showed it earlier that we passed the potency tenacity check. So really, as long as we can get Marauder out of here and we don't make any like major misplays, we should be fine. So Marauder did get his big hit in, and he lowered our max health once, which we've done this before where he was able to do that 3 times and we were still able to win. But I'm a little weird because this C is pretty fast for having full health primaries. He's like at 515 or something like that. So the battle keeps going here, and it's going okay. We kill Set. That's kind of, there's really no way around that. He's just gonna keep taunting. So we have to get through him because we don't have any buffed spells on Wampa, which is okay. And then I'm really trying to get Marauder here rather than the other two. and I'm a little worried because Sidious was about to die. So things are going really well right now. Like, we're not exactly getting the right turns to be able to counter, because you can occasionally counter if he uses AoE. And this was dumb. Instead of using our basic to heal, we roared. And because of that, it just flat out failed. So that would have worked if we would have basicked. We wouldn't have gotten as much turn meter, but we would have gotten enough health that C wouldn't have been able to one-shot us. So now we have to bring in Grievous. And Grievous is, like, sketchier than he would be, probably if this was the entire team, because now there's less characters to get target lock on. And if there's less characters to get target lock on, we don't have as much opportunities to be reducing their turn meter and gaining turn meter for us. So we have to play this battle really, really carefully here. We're trying to control things. I think about going for the AoE, but at the same time, none of them had target lock, so I didn't want to damage anyone. The speed up with Grievous was nice, but we would be able to get everything off of him anyways with the basics. So we're trying to be very, very careful with our AoEs, because if we accidentally kill Dooku or Sidious, then we lose the target lock on C, we lose the healing immunity, and not only that, but he goes back to full health and protection. We're trying to play this really, really carefully, using basic with Grievous onto C. He was able to heal them, which helped a lot, because now we can use our AoEs a little bit more. Going in for the damage now. You can't really see it, but B2's taking quite a bit of heat. And then we use the big hit here because I think we're close enough to kill him. And we do. So, crisis averted. Still not great. Like, the goal here is to take down 5 Galactic Legends with 3. And we're still kind of on par for that. But depending on what's on the back wall, we might just be screwed. Because if he has a lot of good teams on the back wall, we're going to need backup teams like Grievous. Like, Grievous is a pretty formidable offensive character that I would rather not have to use for a cleanup. So once we got that done, we went ahead and used SLKR versus Lord Vader. We really don't have another counter for this. I mean, we have JML, but JML is needed to beat like everything else. So we went ahead and put SLKR in the middle. Well, SLKR is the lead, of course, and then we had Watt right in front of him, so we wouldn't actually put the character on the wrong tech, or the wrong tech on the character. English is hard. So we don't swipe first because they have Thrawn, and they end up going in and fracturing Daka. And this is weird, but at the same time, it's kind of whatever. Like, it doesn't matter at all. Because what ends up happening is they fracture Daka, and then Maul kind of blows all of his hits on the 2 tanks, and we're kind of just fine. And now we get a chance to stun Maul, which is huge. So now Daka won't eventually go down, and she's even, like, gaining protection back, and it's kind of nice, actually, to have her fractured, because then we can't cleanse the dots off of her, and she doesn't lose a bunch of max health because she's gaining turn meter. So that was pretty cool. So we're getting to a point now, and I'm really, really worried about Thrawn fracturing, because our zombie still kind of has enough health here that if they can land the fracture, then they can go right after Doc. And luckily, her health goes so low that Thrawn's fracture can no longer kill him. From here, it's game. Like, if Thrawn can no longer fracture zombie, there's really nothing that they can do, because Maul's permanently stuck behind zombie. Because one of the ways you can lose advantage on zombie is if she takes a turn and she deals the damage. But now that she's got the 2, I think Endless Horde is the name of the debuff on there. Now that she's got 2 of those, she's never going to take a turn again, so she's getting permanently taunting. So we actually did pretty well with the stun and the swipes on this match. We did kind of poorly last match with it, where we weren't getting as much damage as we really wanted to be, because we weren't always siphoning everyone. And this, you see it again here. You see my little mouse over it? Lord Vader siphoned so much negative mastery that he has negative mastery himself. That's what the triangle above his head means. So that was pretty cool. And now I try to get protection back here, which is kind of pointless. Like, it's not really going to be enough. But we're trying to stack as much mastery here as we can, and we want to, if at all possible, would really like to revive Stormtrooper with our Daka, so that we could get, those 2 banners back with having him at full health rather than being dead-zo. So we're coming up here. I'm kind of afraid Lord Vader's going to hit his next ult, and then he's going to start getting positive mastery. We get first order Stormtrooper back, and as soon as we do, we kill him. So we got the 2 banners back. Again, the C fail wasn't great. It was a misplay, but we're going okay here. So we go after SLKR, and this is the second match in a row where we faced an SLKR that have been above 580, and these are a real big pain in the butt. And it doesn't even have to do with the fact that my old Ben actually is fast enough, by the way, for this, which is ridiculous. So we're going through this match. but there is an issue with the SLKR being as fast as it is. So we go ahead and we mark Hux here, and this is very important, because when we mark Hux, we rip off his advantage. Hoda's basic gives enough turn meter for old Ben and Bastila to go before everyone else, so that's good. And here, this is where things kind of suck. So we go ahead and we use our mass ability block or whatever, and we really need, for this to go well, we really need to not only get the ability block, but we also need to get the turn meter reduction on Kylo, and we don't. And this is where things kind of start to suck. So we have a clear shot at Hux here. We just take him out. And this is kind of what sucks, because you can see my Hoda was almost at full turn meter. If we would have, if the Kylo A was under 580 speed, or B, we would have landed the ability, or not the ability, but the turn meter reduction on him. He wouldn't have gotten that turn before Hoda was able to get foresight on everyone. Then he would have way less ultimate charge, and you know, Jedi Knight Revan also would be dead. So those two items combined really kind of screwed us here. And yeah, they were able to reduce the mastery from our Jedi Knight Luke, which is not good at all. We do go ahead and blind him here, just because I don't want to accidentally get stuck behind, or I don't want him to keep reducing my mastery and then for us to have nothing. So luckily that worked really well. Yeah, he's just too fast, and we don't go for the big damage hit here, because I really want that to crit him. Like, that won't crit him if we did it there. So we're trying to wait until he doesn't have advantage. And now we're finally back to a point where he doesn't have it. We do have buff immunity here, so we don't put the foresight up because it's kind of pointless. And then he just kills us, so a little bit of bad RNG there, and a little bit of the fact that fight is just not, it's not 100%, especially when SLKR is this fast. So we have to take CLS here. I really hate doing this, but at the same time, SLKR is a pain in the butt to clean up. Like, it was either that or use Troopers, and if we use Troopers, we would have to take Shore away from Iden, and I didn't want to do that, so we did that, and now we have one more Galactic Legend on this bottom while we get through, and that is, I think, yeah, just one. And that is Rey. So we go ahead and bring in our C, and we take in our 3, you know, crappy tanks, and this is just sketch fest, because my Sunfac is gear 12, Salvar is gear 12, and he's light side, and then Gar is R1. So we're just flirting with death here. So we go ahead and we link up JTR and Rey, because they're going to take the most turns. Rey, no, because she's stupid fast. And then JTR gets a bunch of turn meter because of the seed going around. And kind of, luckily, unluckily, I say unluckily because it didn't really matter. We get the 3 stacks of Beskar instead of 2 onto C, because how they damaged our characters. Which, by the way, if you even if you only have 2 stacks, you take it. We made that huge mistake last time. Also, slight misplay here. So you can see we're linking the bros. We definitely should have linked Resistance Hero Finn and R2, because what's going to happen now is when we get our next ult, we're going to zap the bros, and it is much better for us to zap R2 because of the amount of offense he's giving Rey. Because if this Rey were stronger and our C was weaker, or, you know, a combination of both, her next ultimate would just wipe me out. Luckily, we have a very good C, tons of health, and the way that we were able to play this is we essentially had full health and full protection for our ult, so we tank it quite well, even with R2 being there. So I do try to avoid hitting R2 because I just want both of them to be alive so we can eventually relink them. That'll give us a better opportunity to get protection back. And we end up kind of making a misplay here because C's protection from armor comes after the turn, but apparently if you kill the characters, there's no after the turn, so we lost a banner there. Not the huge problem. So now we're going up top. His back roll really was not impressive. We still really were looking like we were going to get the full clear. So we go ahead, and this sucks. We have to use the 2-shot here. We have to use the 2-shot here with JML, or with Bounty Hunters and then JML to take out his JMK Cat. We don't like doing this because my Bounty Hunters are a very good team. Or Bounty Hunters in general are a very good team if you're using them right. And then, like, having to 2-shot with a Galactic Legend, I know it's the reality because JMK is just stupid broken, but it sucks. It sucks having to do this. But if we had something else to do with SLKR, like maybe Starkiller or Rey or something, we wouldn't have had to do this, but that wasn't the case, so we did. So in that match, we were able to get Cat out, and that's pretty much all that mattered. We went ahead and took another team in after that to drain the cooldowns, because his cooldowns were not in a good place. They had everything loaded, including Hello there. So we're able to come in with JML. Now the budget counter, of course, we don't have all the good, quote-unquote, I mean, these are great characters. We didn't have Jedi Knight Luke and Jedi Knight Revan in here. So, I mean, we're just playing the slow game here, trying to get our ults so we can eventually get around Kenobi. We're able to proc the Savior mechanic on him. Goes pretty well. And this was done. We increased cooldowns on JMK. And he's just going to proc ult next turn. So that was a complete waste. Should have, I guess, probably wasn't a complete waste. We shouldn't have, I wanted to still have it. Or I should have put it on like Padme or so, or maybe GK, I don't know. We still want to gain the leader ability. So we just go ahead and use the basic here just because, you know, really know they're a great choice. On Jolie to assist, and now we revive JMY. And without Cat here now, their AI is kind of weird. Like, I think JMK really still prefers JMY, but not all the team does. So they, you know, they take their hits around. We'd go ahead and use the leap to get rid of all the foresight. He has damage immunity now, but doesn't really matter because we just hit ult, so we can get around him as much as we want. We go after Ahsoka here, just because she's pretty squishy. Like, this one's only R5. So we have the opportunity here to get him out, or get her out. Don't really want to do that with... We can't really get Kenobi out, and Padme is a lot thicker. So once we get rid of Ahsoka, there's really not a lot this team can do to catch up now. Like, we kind of have them in a corner here. Yeah, so she's gone. And now we just go after JMK, and we leave JK for last. And I think I even put on auto here. Probably didn't need to do that. But I just didn't want to have to deal with it, so... Yeah, because there's really not a fear of a time. We took it off auto once he was dead to see if we could try to recover banners. But, I mean, this... Other than Shock Special, this team really doesn't have a good banner recovery. After that, we went with the next logical step, and that was to use Iden versus their Mon Mothma. This is... We've done this battle so many times. We almost... Maybe tell me in the chat what you guys think. But after we've done a battle, like, 10 times, and it's no longer used for information, maybe we just leave it out. Like, you can tell me what you think about that. But, because, like, this is... And we've done this battle so many times. Like, we do this almost every GAC, and there aren't really any risk factors to it. Like, aim to kill Kyle Katarn and Kara first before you kill the other two, and profit. Like, there's... I guess the gear is... I mean, it felt impressive, you know, like the first 5 or 6 times that, you know, we're using Gear 12, Gear 11 characters to consistently beat Relic teams. But I don't know, like, I don't know if anyone's getting anything from this anyway, so... Maybe you guys all skip this and you won't even see it to be able to make a comment on it, but here we are. So we get Kara out. That was pretty easy. We're going after Katarn now. We can get Death Mark out now that Kara is dead, so we go ahead and do that. And we go ahead and seal Kyle's fate so he can't come back. No, even if they try to revive him. Now, they did get Kara back. Really not that big of an issue. We just stun her again. Kill What's-His-Fate, our pal, on counter, so that was pretty darn cool. And I think we end up killing... Honorable Scout or Soldier, whatever his name is, here as well, just because he's a lot squishier than Kara. Deathmark Kara, get her out, then use our big mass assist on Hoth Rebel Scout, and he's dead. So now we use Bad Batch versus his Qui-Gon team, and I don't particularly love this because they're they put in a really weak character, which I actually kind of like that strategy. I think it's a good strategy. And we got screwed here, so our stun did not land on Jedi Anakin, so he got pissed off, and he got to use his AoE with all that bonus damage, and this Jedi Anakin was modded really well. He had all crit damage and quite a bit of speed. So that was really not great, him getting to use his AoE. That really kind of put us in the doghouse, so to speak. And then everyone else died, and like it's just Jedi Anakin now, and he's like one turn away from losing his bonus damage, and the only character he can hit is the tank. So he doesn't have his bonus damage anymore, so there's really nothing he can do. And we just kill him. But yeah, so pretty bad, kind of bad RNG there. 15% chance for him to resist the stun, and he did, and that kind of screwed us. But I hate this battle. I hate this battle a lot. We knew 100% coming into this that we were not going to be able to one-shot with Enfys Nest. We just didn't have anything else for this team. Like, we were... for the bottom teams, we have, like, Palp Mara and nothing else lined up. Like that was the team, Palp Mara. We don't have Vader, we don't have Thrawn, we don't have Gideon. And then we had to use Gideon with Geos for the other team. Those 2 fights are going to be coming up. So we this is our last option here. So we're already kind of running on fumes. And I know that we can 2-shot this. And we're already not doing great on banners. And I was trying to see if we could line up a hit with one of these characters here. But it's... No one here hit... I mean, the only character here that hits like super hard is Dark. And he hits 4 times at once. Which is not great for Nest. Well, it's great if you are Nest. So I know pretty much from the minute we get into this battle that we're not going to be able to one-shot it. So we just do it. And I thought about taking out one of the Imperial Troopers, or maybe putting... I really didn't want to give Gideon up. Because if we take out Ranger Stark, we don't reduce enough turn meter, and we might have a shot at actually killing her. My issue with that was, though, that throws off our turn meter, and then if, like, this team loses, let's say the Dash gets a turn because their turn meter isn't right or whatever, and he takes over, then we don't beat this team at all. We don't even get to two-shot it, so... I was thinking maybe later, like, if we would have put the mark on, like, range or something like that, and then range would have, number one, died, and not only died, but he would have given 20 stacks of whatever, of Emperor's Trap. Not Emperor's Trap, it's a different one. The debuff that he gives that isn't Mark. Because if you kill a trooper that has that, or I think any Empire, that has 20 stacks, that Piet starts to hit stupid freaking hard. So that probably would have been the best play, but at the same time, I don't know if that would have worked. So possible thing we could have done, and then yeah, so she killed Virus here, and we were kind of toying with the idea that, you know, maybe we could kill her now, but the big issue is here for an S to lose her protection, she has to take a turn, and when she takes a turn, she's gonna lose her we're gonna lose all of our Emperor's Trap, which is where all of our damage is coming from. So of course this ends in a failure, and we came into that kind of knowing that troopers and nests just do not mix, but this is where it got. So to clean up, this was pretty easy. I mean, a nest solo it's fine enough. So we go ahead and I think we take an Embo lead. We took a minute to discuss like what lead was best, but at the end of the day, like, Ness can only take so many hits from characters like Boba and Embo before she just keels over, so that worked. And now we have to beat their Iden, and I originally wanted to use some type of GG team against their Iden, and then use Qui-Gon Jinn versus the other team, because the Iden team's pretty weak, and if you take out B1, GG does pretty well. But we weren't able to do that, so we take in Qui-Gon Jinn here, and this, quite honestly, works just fine. So we go ahead and AoE right off the top, kill the Gear 12 character. That was fairly enjoyable. Now we've got Mace taunting, and we, go after any character that is an Iden here. Preferably Death Trooper, because his healing immunity and his daze. Oh, this is so annoying. The daze just completely messes us up. Fun fact, you can't give Jedi Anakin, or any character that has daze, a free turn with Mace, because you can't call them to assist because they're dazed. So that's not fun. Go ahead and use that just so we get back up. And I really like Mace in this lineup. I know that we made a whole video on like why we like it, but just the fact that, so the Qui-Gon team has no stacking offense. Like, they have a ton of offense to start off with, but if whatever you have isn't enough, Mace just makes such a huge difference, because he's constantly lowering their max health. So that's very, very cool. And on top of that, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Mace also is pretty consistently able to bring himself up and below 50% health with his counters. So he's a really, really great addition to this team. I think this probably would have worked even without him, but he's cool, man. I like Mace. Mace is great. Yeah, love the Shatterpoint mechanic. I think they did it really cool. The only thing I wish they would have done different is let it hit through Foresight. But anyways, so we got to the back wall, and like I said, there was kind of crap there. So there was this weird Finn team that wasn't doing anything. So we could take Gideon. Our Geos aren't particularly great, but Vet Han's counters weren't really doing enough, especially with Demoralize from Gideon there. Gideon, I'll say Gideon is overrated, but he's a great plug and play character. He is a great plug and play character. Even when we don't like, yeah, maybe he's not overrated. Maybe I'm just stupid. We take out the vets first so they don't get angry. And this one's kind of dumb. Like right here, we definitely should have been trying to ability block Haldo, because she's the one with the AoE daze. Luckily, she doesn't use it, so that's cool. But yeah, so now we try to ability block both of them, and then just slowly work them down, and eventually try to save a big hit to get BB-8 out, just because I don't want to deal with his counters. We don't go after him right away, because I don't want to have to deal with him countering, and then Haldo assisting, and then they get Foresight, and then Haldo just kind of permatons, and he just gets stuck between the two. So we made sure to take her and Finn out first, and then you go after BB-8 next. But overall, a pretty easy match. Not a lot to say about it. Probably should have put, like, one debuff or something on BB-8 before the big hit, but wasn't a big deal. Didn't really matter. 65. Or 65 of the match. The only 65 of the match, I'm pretty sure. So this is fun. I don't know if this is... I don't really think this is impressive or, like, exciting, but this was fun. So we take in this garbage squad, obviously besides Marjade and Palpatine, because we don't have anything else, because all of our other Empire are being used in other teams, which is kind of cool, but anyways. So we go ahead and take these two, and we get to play with Machine Gun Palp. I'm just gonna say it is a lot. This is a fun team, especially with Geos, because he gets more turn meter for every shock that there is out there, and because there's 6 characters on this team, you get even more turn meter than you would normally. So we're just trying to make sure we knock down all the staggers and whatnot. Use that hit with what's his face to make sure we don't use the AoE. We just keep shock, and we go to Geo Soldier because he's lower defense, but then I realize I don't want to kill him because I want all 6 shocks to stay out. So shock. This was very fun. This was very fun during the stream. It's just so entertaining just seeing him whittle them down. There's nothing they can do about it because he's getting like 100% turn meter every single time. And then once GBA's gone, you know, that's their main life source. So then everyone just falls, pretty much just falls over. Then we go for the big hit there on Sunpack, if he even has a big hit. Bomb spy over there, and then shock. Pretty satisfying. Pretty satisfying to use, not gonna lie. So I'm gonna take an Executor versus Negotiator and just pray to, I don't know, RNGesus or Technology or BlueStacks, who we're praying to at this point, but just don't crash. This is such an easy match. This is such an easy match. So, of course, we get right in there. We're already farther than we got last time, so that's pretty cool. Go right after Jedi and Anakin. Really, not a lot they can do, because, I mean, you mark him, you put buff immunity on him. Like, everything that Jedi and Anakin doesn't want you to do to him, you do to him. So, he's out, and, I mean, once he's out, that is game. We try to avoid giving a debuff to Ahsoka, because she'll cleanse it, and she'll give everyone Retribution. We get Contract, like, immediately, because they have, like, no chaff different from some other fleets. Get the stun on Ahsoka, and, of course, they bring in Plo, and he does exactly what he does. So now they all get Retribution, but we target Plo because hopefully he won't have Retribution if he's dead, which ends up being the case. We're stealth here, so that was pretty nice, and then we're really darn close away from getting our ultimate. Probably didn't need to bring in Boba, looking back on it, but probably didn't really need to bring IG either, but we're not really, at this point, we're really just hoping our opponent stalls out on our Galactic Legends in the back wall. Like, that's the only way we win this, because we've already failed 5 battles. Like, it's been a lot. It's not been a small amount. But yeah, so we get this team down. That felt really good. And then we go ahead and take in our Negotiator against his Empire. And we did this last time, and it went really well. And it goes pretty darn well this time, too. We switched up to the Rex lineup instead of Ahsoka in the starting lineup. And, like, this was fine. Like, I don't think... We weren't able to kill TIE Bomber nearly as fast, but at the same time, like, whatever. And then, so the TIE prototype didn't come out in the first move, so I'm fairly certain that means he just wasn't in there. Like, he just wasn't in the fleet. Like, I didn't check. I should have gone back and checked earlier. But I wonder, like, did he not have it on, like, what is he doing with his life? Does he not have it unlocked? I would find that very hard to believe. Yeah, he has it unlocked, 6 stars. Maybe he just didn't put it in there. I don't know. But yeah, it didn't come out first. Well, nothing came out first because he didn't have it in there to get the immediate reinforcement. Then they brought in Shuttle, and this is kind of a wrap. We bring in Ahsoka to make sure they get rid of the Foresight on TIE Fighter pilots. We don't feed more turn meter to Thrawn, and they get a big hit off on us. And then, yeah, we just take down Shuttle there. Goodbye. Then we go ahead and bring in our First Order versus Raddus, which, not gonna lie, like, First Order is great and all, but Raddus is freaking annoying, man. Like, the dodges, and then just the occasional, like, super large hit from Falcon that almost, like, clears out my entire team. Don't like that. Don't like that at all. But yeah, so we're not starting the Echelon because we only have it 4 stars, so he won't actually taunt. I find it better to bring him in as reinforcement if he's only 4 star. So we're trying to take out that tank. Yeah, that tank also isn't fully up there. But they get the Daze and Silencer. This sucks because he gains so much turn meter if you can let him. So go ahead and stealth everyone, give him protection up, whatever. And it's really stinking good that we do. Really would have liked to have the buff removal because he almost wiped out my entire team. And if the Falcon wiped out my entire team there, that was probably game. Like, we weren't just not gonna full clear because I don't have a cleanup fleet. This is my cleanup fleet. So we can't call in Silencer, so we just go ahead and go for the AoE here to wipe the Foresight off them so they don't get to their ultimate as fast. We call in the Shuttle just because I wanted that ship to be dead. Trying to work on Poe now because Poe does a decent amount of damage, and we're not. The Days took forever to get off, and of course, you know, they get the dodge here. I don't know if this is the right move. We called in him so we could get a little bit more protection. Call in Silencer to assist. But the amount, the evasion up is just, I mean, I get that that's what it's supposed to do, but that's so annoying. And what's his face gets the Falcon gets its turns here. I'm really starting to worry too, because I'm pretty sure they're about to get the hold maneuver. And if they get that, like, then our win becomes sketchy. Like, it becomes really dangerous. Because they get another ship, and one of ours is just gonna go down. Yeah, so luckily we're able to get that one out, and they're not able to get the hold maneuver quite quickly. We go ahead and bring in another actually no, you just call in Silencer, and I stand by that because he should probably be dead here, so don't have to worry about that. And we go ahead and take the full clear and take the loss. So this is okay. Like, we lost the last one because of a game crash, but I can lose just because a player legitimately, like, this guy beat us. And I think I don't even know if there's anything we could have done to stop him, because it got to our back wanting full clear to Geos, because that's really what we needed to hold for us to have a shot. Like, looking back, we could have won with Wampa here had we not misplayed. And if we had won with Wampa, we could have used GG in another place to at least prevent one loss being, like, particularly the dash loss here. We could have used, you know, GG here and then used Qui-Gon Jinn here, and we would have saved banners. But at the end of the day, like, we still had to lose to this. Like, we still had to two-shot that. The Jedi Knight, Revan Jedi Knight, Luke versus SLKR, like, we just got bad RNG there. Like, there was only so much we could do to mitigate these amount of losses. And, like, we didn't lose. We didn't lose within a 40 banner window. We just didn't. So even if we hadn't misplayed, like, this is just a loss coming for us. So, you know, props to our opponent, the Wicked. Played super well. Good defense, good offense, and hopefully we can get a win of sometime soon. But until the next time, guys, stay awesome.